показана картина того, как изменилось видение
Now,
МВФ, и оно стало более
one softened a little bit, but still growing at 7.5%, and Russia also with some stabilization. Next slide. One should think why the IMF is actually more negative in terms of growth. I think the European situation. Is the uncertainty going to decline or it will be high? We think that unless it's more jobs and do some structural reforms, the situation in Europe will continue to be very delicate. I don't know how many of you heard about the fiscal cliff in the US. If the US government doesn't agree, it's not resolved. Well, if that happens in the US, it means the US will probably go into a recession. And gas importers, well, there is some gradual fiscal consolidation. So, Kazakhstan, for example, you will need to create fiscal buffers so you can react counter-cyclically if a shock hits the economy. Now, there are also external vulnerabilities, large, even a little surplus. So that vulnerability is not very, that's not the case in Georgia and Armenia. We have very, very high current account deficits. Some say that it's because of the overage. They have been having surpluses as long as the oil prices remain high. The concern there is more overheating risks. That this, in terms of the medium term, creating jobs, reducing the informal sector, fostering high and inclusive growth, these are all challenges for the entire region, and we need to continue focusing on them. Tajikistan, but not only. Here we see Tajikistan. Here we have 6. Well, that's what the regional economic outlook used when it was the growth in Tajikistan to 7% in 2013. And in 2012, we think that we used to forecast 6 points specifically, is much more positively than is presented here. And it's actually very fast at 3.3%. So a forecast for Tajikistan of 7.5 compared, would like to compare Tajikistan to, let's say, the fast growing economy. No question about that. Next slide. It's the equivalent of 45% of GDP, so it's a very important flow that comes into the country. Okay. So here you can see how there was obviously a collapse in remittance inflows in 2007. So